Mark, this for you, and then I think I'm going to here.
Thank you.
We decided that we're not going to allow anybody to speak except for Chad and
Chad, who?
Chad.
Oh, okay. Well, who just walked in the room?
Unless the board wants other people.
No,
to speak.
no, I think it's fine. I think it,
So are you okay if we're not, technically, we're done with the public hearing for God's sake.
Right.
So nobody can speak.
Right.
Unless we vote to allow people to speak.
Yeah. If you want, that's fine. It's up to you.
Okay.
I'm good with.
I was thinking that
Because
we
I have
would
some-
allow Chad or Chad's attorney to speak. In that
Yeah.
area, 'cause we'll have some discussion.
Right, because I have some things that I've noticed during it. So yeah, no, I mean, I guess their response would be not a bad thing.
Maybe there's some questions that we could for Chad.
Yeah.
Past time. Okay, today's Monday, July 13th. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:04.
actually, it's 5:59.
Yeah, Tom, you wanna put the microphone and bring it in?
Put your microphone, everybody get the microphones on.
Mine's on.
I know,
I'd like to call this meeting to order.
I don't.
Okay. Today is Monday, July 13th, 2026. And first of all, I'd like to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody could stand as I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. The first order of business is the approval of regular session meeting minutes for June 8th, which is regular and executive session minutes. June 16th, which was the vision meeting that we had, and June 22nd, which is the special meeting that we had on Dockside. So do I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for June 8th?
For June, no. I'm sorry. I have a question on the executive.
Yes.
Okay. But you want to do the regular first, you said?
Let's do the regular first, and then we can talk about the executive.
Sorry.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 8th, 2026.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Motion carries. The executive session for June 8th. Mark?
Yeah, under the town administrator's contract, when we started the discussion about the $1,500 a month, we related it back to the chairmanship of the MSHG, but then I sort of withdrew that as a consideration because we felt that could get a little bit messy with that group, et cetera. And I said, we should just do it. So that's my recollection of what I said. And
I noticed that too.
Okay.
So I thought the same thing. So I just wanted to
agree.
make sure. Yeah.
so if we could just amend.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, thanks. Do I have a motion to approve the June 8th executive session minutes
So moved. Second.
with the modification?
Yes.
Right. And second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, June 16th, that's the vision workshop that we had. Do you have a motion to approve the minutes for the workshop?
So moved.
Second?
Abstain from that. Just I wasn't there. So
Oh, okay.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we have one extension. Motion carries. And then the last set of minutes is for the Dockside special meeting on June 22nd. Do you have a motion to approve those minutes?
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next order of business is a public hearing on the Class 2 used car dealer's license application filed by Ted's Auto Sales located at 25 Thompson Road, Webster, Mass. 01570. Description of the premises, one office, 6 spaces in front and 4 spaces in back for overflow and customer and employee parking. Is there anybody here that can talk about this? Yeah, you want to come up and speak it?
And I will recuse myself on this one, so.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Have a seat.
And speak into the microphone, please. Yeah, we do have to open the public hearing.
I make a motion, we open the public hearing?
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we are opening the public hearing. Can you give us a little description of what you're doing here and
What am I going to do there?
for the dealer's license application? What's happening? What changes that are going to be occurring, or is it just?
I'm moving from Southbridge to Webster. I'm already a Class 2 dealer in Southbridge. My lot was taken away by eminent domain in Southbridge, and I was looking for another location, and that one came up at the same time.
Can you tell us what you're going to do with the location, where you're going to be doing the parking? I know that you're going to have some of the parking spaces in the front of the building, some in the back of the building.
So there'll be 4 directly in front, 2 on the side, and it'd be 4 in the back for overflow or customer parking.
Okay. Are they going, the parking spaces, I know there is a sidewalk there. Are they going to be in, you're always going to have the automobiles in front of the sidewalk,
They won't be on the
but
sidewalk.
not
No.
on the sidewalk?
Nope.
Okay.
It's clearly marked, right?
I think, yeah, it was clearly marked in the past.
And it's very similar to the one that's there right now.
It'll be exactly what's there. Yeah.
And I think there'll be fewer spots in the front of the building. than there were.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I think there's probably going to be fewer spots in the front of the building than there were in the past. So.
He said he had 6 in the front, which 4 is directly in the front and 2 towards the side.
On the side.
So I think it's the same.
Okay. Any discussion? Any questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the used car dealer's license application filed by
I
Ted's?
think you have to close the
We have to
public
close
hearing.
Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry. We have to public.
I make a motion, we close the public hearing?
Second.
Second?
Okay,
I make
all those in
a,
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is now closed. And now we can have discussion on the approval for the dealer's license. Any discussion?
no, not for me.
Okay.
I move that we approve
Looks
the
pretty
Class
clear to me.
2 used car dealer's license application filed by Ted's Auto Sale located at 25 Thompson Road, Webster, Mass. 01570.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for
You're good,
coming forward.
Good luck.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good, yep, good luck. Next item is a discussion and possible vote to approve the common vittler's license application filed by Peg's Variety Shack LLC located at 152 Gore Road, Webster, Mass. 01570. Anybody here to discuss the license for Peg's Variety Shop? Kelly, do we have everything?
They are required to have a conference. They have some seating in the shack, and they are serving ice cream that people can sit and hang out.
This it wouldn't necessarily affect the license, but I saw that they have a new sign. Do they need a permit for that new sign?
That was my question as well. I drove by the sign this morning.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, it's very nice.
As before, probably not, but if it's like much farther
No,
or
it's-
in a different
I think-
place, then
Sure, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if they
Just,
need to have a
yeah,
new sign reviewed by the planning board or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the
I-
building commissioner may require a sign.
I don't think it looks much, it looks nicer. I don't think it's that much different, but I would like to make sure that everything's correct with that,
Sure.
especially on that road. Yeah. One of my questions was going to be if they had ice cream, so it sounds like they are, so that's good.
Yeah.
Soft serve, good. That's important.
It's actually not as big as the old one, it's not as tall. so-
Yeah, if anything, I think it's there. And are they going to have lottery?
Yes, she mentioned Keno.
Okay, so pretty much just like the last. Yeah.
Anything else on this?
Do we need anyone here from there?
No.
I don't think we
asked.
need anyone.
No, it's,
Okay, yeah, so I'm good. I'm all set.
Everybody's all
Yeah.
set?
Just need a motion.
Just, I need a motion to.
I'll make a motion to approve the common victualer's license application for Peg's Variety Shack LLC located at 152 Gore Road, Webster, Mass. 01570.
Second.
Uh, All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is discussion and possible vote to approve the one-day special alcohol license submitted by the Kildare Island Club located at 190 Kildare Road, Webster, Mass. 01570 for a wine tasting event to be held at the Kildare Island Clubhouse on Saturday, August 15th, 2026 from 4 to 6 p.m. Is there anybody here to discuss that item? Kelly, are we all set for that?
They had submitted a tip certification, certificate of insurance. The event is going to be inside the clubhouse.
Inside, okay. So there's no police detail required. Okay.
First time we've had a wine tasting in a while.
I know.
Yes, looks good.
Okay, is there any discussion, any questions for Kelly?
1 second.
Do I have a
I
motion?
can't
to-
remember which one it was, sorry. Hold on.
I just noticed it said server to be determined, but you said they've since submitted the tips. Okay. So I make a motion that we approve.
Oh, 1 minute.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no, sorry. No, I'm good.
You're
Okay.
good? Okay. Do I have a
I
motion?
make a motion we approve the one-day special alcohol license submitted by the Kildare Island Club.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is discussion and possible vote to approve the one-day special alcohol license submitted by Saints Constantine and Helen Church located at 37 Lake Parkway, Webster, Mass. 01570 for a fundraiser to be held on the church grounds on Sunday, July 25th, 2026 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Anybody here to discuss that item? Kelly, we all set on this? Everything is,
Almost. We just need an updated certificate of insurance, which they're working on. They have to get it from the diocese, so it takes a little while. But they have one, but it expires.
okay, so we will just approve it with condition that they get that insurance. Okay. Any discussion, questions?
No?
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the one-day special alcohol license submitted by Saints Constantine and Helen Church located at 37 Lake Parkway, Webster, Mass. 01570 for a fundraiser to be held on church grounds on Sunday, July 25th, 2026 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. as long as the insurance comes in.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries. And the next item, the board needs to vote to approve the Commonwealth of Massachusetts warrant for the 2026 state primary. Rick, do you have anything you want to say on that?
yeah, I'm still not too sure why these are required, these approvals, because you really don't have a choice. I think ultimately, what's important is the time and the location. I think that's really the most important thing, because I don't think we have a choice not to vote for governor, as an example. So,
Okay. Elaine, would you read that?
Let's see, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. To the constables of the city, town of Webster, greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of said town who are qualified to vote in primaries to vote at precincts 1, 1A, 2, 3, 4, and 5, Webster Town Hall Auditorium, 350 Main Street, Webster, Massachusetts, 01570, on Tuesday, the first day of September 2026, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the following purpose: to cast their votes in the state primaries for the candidates of political parties for the following offices: Senator in Congress for this Commonwealth, Governor for this Commonwealth, Lieutenant Governor for this Commonwealth, Attorney General for this Commonwealth, Secretary of State for this Commonwealth, Treasurer for this Commonwealth, Auditor for this Commonwealth, Representative in Congress, 1st and 2nd District, Counselor, 7th District, Senator in General Court, Worcester and Hamden District, Representative in General Court, 18th Worcester District, District Attorney, Worcester County District, Register of Probate, Worcester County. Hereof fail not and make return of this warrant with your doings thereon at the time and place of said voting, given under our hands this 13th day of July, 2026, Selectmen of the Town of Webster.
Thank you, Elaine.
I move we accept the warrant as read.
Second.
Any discussion?
Read very well, I might say.
Yeah. Thank you,
What a
Elaine.
great job.
All those church readings help.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a discussion and possible vote to approve the request for outdoor weekday and Sunday entertainment licenses submitted by Island Road LLC, DBA Dockside LLC, located at 103 Birch Island Road, Webster, Mass. 01570. The public hearing closed on June 22nd, 2026, and because that the public hearing was held on June 22nd, there can't be any discussion from any general public at this point in time.
So I'd like to say something on their behalf. Is that possible? Or?
Not at this point in time. That's what the public hearing is for.
Their attorney is here.
Hmm?
So their attorney is here.
Yeah, their attorney is here.
Okay.
Well, I'm a directee, and I was shocked to hear you couldn't do it. It's a great thing. I realize that once in a while.
I'm sorry, there really can't be any discussion.
So what can it be?
There was already discussion at our meeting on the 22nd when we had a public hearing. And the reason for the public hearing is to allow people to come in and discuss it, whether they are in favor of it or oppose it. And that's the purpose of the public hearing. But I think we would vote to have his attorney speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Can I have a vote by the board to allow his attorney to speak?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nick Adamopoulos on behalf of the business owners of Dockside. Just as a clarification point, I believe the applicant's correct LLC is Island Road Dockside LLC, doing business as Dockside. Just in case there is a vote here and the applicant has to be put on to the license, we just want to make sure it is the correct entity that's on there. I've been retained by the business owners. I apologize, I wasn't here for the other two meetings that this board was gracious enough to allow them to have. I've been brought up to speed about how much work the town, through both the board and the inspection department, have done with the proprietors of the business. On their behalf, I do want to thank all of you. There's two instances that have been brought to my attention that ultimately I want to address before the board. My understanding is not this weekend, but the past weekend, there was some music that was played on the exterior of the building through the jukebox system that was inside. When that was brought to my attention, I immediately reached out to the proprietors, explained to them that even if a patron inside turns on the jukebox, they have to make sure that while this vote is pending, that they cannot have that music outside, that they have to shut off that zone. That was addressed, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday of this past week. My understanding is that zone was turned off and there's been no jukebox music played to the exterior. There's no excuse, but I just wanted to be forthright with the board. That did come to my attention. I did address it with my clients to make sure that was not an issue. The other thing that was brought to my attention that was addressed immediately was on Sunday, yesterday, there had been an advertisement online that there was going to be a gentleman coming up from Nashville to play acoustic music in the upstairs bar inside the venue. I spoke to my client. They were under the impression that the liquor license may have allowed for it. I was able to verify immediately that that liquor license did not allow for music inside until there was a vote by this board. Spoke to the proprietor. They were understanding. They spoke to the gentleman. They canceled that event immediately so that they were not in violation of any license that they currently have. So I'm not here to make excuses. Clearly, there's two instances that borderlined. One was a clear violation. It was music outside. The second one, I was told quick enough where we addressed it, we canceled it, and made sure that there was no live entertainment until the board made a vote. I did watch the past meeting. I know that there was concerns brought up by some of the abutters, by the board. I know that my client's initial ask is a 12 to 11 Monday through Sunday. Spoke to them, explained to them that I think we have to have some give and some acknowledgement of the concerns of the board and the abutters. So if the board is to take a vote today, our proposal is that the board consider a reduction in those hours. Monday through Saturday, the request would be from 12 to 8 p.m. From any exterior music, and then on Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. for any exterior music. If there's any live musicians on the premises, that music be only done through acoustic music. No drums, nothing of that nature. I would just ask that the only exception be that a bongo not be considered a drum. My understanding is there's a local act that sometimes brings along an individual, but that there wouldn't be, a band out there with a heavy metal guitar in a drum. It would be an acoustic guitar, maybe a second guitar, and on the rare occasion, maybe someone on a bongo. But we do want to at least acknowledge that there are some noise concerns from the abutters. So we do believe that the reduction in hours would ultimately, hopefully, appease those concerns. Two other items. I spoke to the landowner, the actual individual that owns the property. He has explained to me today that he reached out to National Grid. He is getting me the work order for the light that is facing the parking lot. I did speak to an individual I know that works at National Grid. He did indicate to me that once that work order is issued, I can try to see if we can fast track that. It appears that someone just needs to go up and plug it in from National Grid. So once I get that work order and that work permit number, I will try to fast track that so that there is some illumination on the parking lot. And we spoke to the business owners. They are going to have an employee that will be looking at the parking lot on Friday and Saturday evenings to ensure that there's no issues with parking, that there's no parking directly in front of the building, nor on the Birch Island Loop where there's no parking signs. The proprietors already talked to one of the abutters that had some available land. They are in the process of finalizing an agreement to allow for the employees to park in that so that they can open up parking spots directly in front of the establishment. So there are no concerns. I can tell you that I did go there. In full disclosure, my parents own a home that's just up the road. So they are one of the abutters that got notice of the public hearings. They are well aware I'm here, but they are an abutter, so I know the concerns have been raised. That's a small road, and if people do park on the road, it becomes an issue. I can tell you that I went there on Saturday. There were 2 cars parked on the circle. Spoke to the owner, and they said, "Listen, we can guarantee you that those cars are not patrons of the establishment." And there was available parking in the parking lot. We were able to decipher where those cars were coming from, but I can just full disclosure, I can tell you that those vehicles were not from the establishment. They don't want people parking on the road. There's been motorcycle individuals who said that they've been parking on that road in front of there for 10, 15 years. They explained that they can't do that. They've moved one of the two storage bins on the right-hand side of the parking. The goal is to move that second one within the next week. That's going to be parking designated for motorcycles so that they have an area they can make sure those motorcycles are protected and not just sitting in the middle of the parking lot around motor vehicles. So I'm here ultimately to say sorry for the two instances that have been brought to my attention. I want to make sure that there's an open dialogue now between the board, the inspection department, through my office, if anything needs to get to these individuals. I told them the town has gone out of their way to try to make this work. They want to see this business succeed. The business wants to see it succeed. They want to be a good neighbor. They are already in talks of getting some, charity events at the establishment for good causes and the like. So I think there was a slight disconnect. I'm hoping to ultimately fuse that disconnect and make sure that the dialogue is going both ways. However, we would ask that you consider adopting the reduced hours and allowing for the entertainment licenses to move forward. I know the town administrator certainly knows how to reach me. He can provide your information to all of you. He can provide it to anyone else in the town that needs to contact me if there are concerns. And I'll make sure that those concerns are addressed immediately. We were able to do that yesterday. It came to my attention. I made a phone call. We took care of that immediately, so there was no ongoing violation where someone would be standing here today saying, well, they played a guitar yesterday, they didn't have a license. I don't want that. I don't think the town wants that, and the proprietors don't want that. So I'm here to say sorry, and if you guys have any questions that I can answer, please let me know. That's my spiel.
Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you very much.
Well, stay for a minute.
Okay.
Well, first of all, through the chair, kudos to the owners for bringing you in, because you did a good job, so thank you.
Thank you.
Kudos to them for bringing you in. Just a couple of things that I would like to say. That first of all, it was more than two times the last
Okay.
week. I experienced 3 personally.
Okay.
I will tell you that yesterday there wasn't music, which was good, because but it was more than 2, and at the end of the day, part of this is the town and the neighbors being able to trust the establishment to do what they say they're going to do, because we can't be there to watch them 7 days a week. And
I agree.
so I'd like them to know that we're aware of those violations, and thank you for the Sunday, because we were very specific the last meeting that there was no entertainment on Sunday.
I was told that.
Okay.
And I just, not to cut you off, but I did make it clear to my clients that these violations now are certainly going to make sure that there are eyes on them going forward, and that they need to make sure they abide by this, because now if they get a license, it's going to be clear cut, it's black and white, there's no gray here. So you are regulated. The town has boards and inspectors who can go out there and make sure you are following the black and white letter of that license. And I told them to expect that there would be people from the town in there making sure that they are not going over those hours or doing something that's not allowed. So if there was more violations, I wasn't aware of them. I'm glad you brought those to my attention.
I wasn't suggesting you were being untrue.
No, I'm just, once again, I'm here, I think that obviously something happened, and it shouldn't have happened. So we're going to take down the face, and no one's been making excuses. Those should not have happened. Thanks, Nick.
I appreciate what you've said, because, we requested that they not provide the jukebox music outside. And it was a little disconcerting that one thing we did ask for, they violated already. And so I was concerned about that.
And through the chair, how are they going to assure us that that isn't going to happen? Because we did have quite a little dialogue on that.
That was brought to my attention. So I think the one way of ensuring it is I'm local. I'm now, for what it's worth, I'm kind of the face of this at this point, right? I mean, it's going to be an issue where if they're in violation, someone's going to sit there and be like, that local attorney was there, what's going on? So I'm putting my trust in them. I can tell you that when I do ask them to do something, they've been very responsive to it. That's one good thing, not always the case with some of my clients, but they were very responsive to it. The other thing here is, They are a well-known location. There are going to be patrons there. I do think that the neighbors will keep you abreast if there is a violation that needs to be addressed. The building inspector can always go down there if there's anything. The fire chief can go down there. So I mean, it has to be at some point, we're giving you our word that we're going to follow it, and we're asking you to take us at our word. If there's a violation, then, I mean, the license can always be revoked, and not just this license, it puts their liquor license in jeopardy for renewal next year. And I mean, obviously, for an establishment of that caliber, if their liquor license is not renewed, I mean, the business is in trouble, correct? So I'm just asking you to take them at their word at this point.
And through the chair, because again, like, we were very clear on no outside. He made a phone call during it to make sure that he could shut off the outside. So he was well aware that it was supposed to be nothing on the outside. Also on Sunday, we were very clear that there was no entertainment inside or outside on Sunday. So if we do vote for anything tonight, we have to obviously be very, very clear that on what he is and is not allowed. I do have questions. So on 7.2 and 7.9, there was a DJ there that they, at least I believe there was, it was advertised and stuff like that. How did that go? Obviously no one's here from there. So was that just on the inside? Was it on the first floor, second floor? I'm just curious how.
So I wasn't there. My understanding is that
Yeah.
the only act that was going to be on the second floor was going to be yesterday's act. That the music, I've also not been told that there have been any acts outside. So I wasn't there. But
Right.
from speaking to them, I was told that there was nothing outside.
Yeah. So I'm just curious how, if they did have a DJ, how it went, how late did they go, and just for reference.
Well, through the chair, is that I took my boat and sat outside there for a while just to see what was
Yeah.
going on. They had a good crowd. There was no music on the 9th.
Okay.
Outside. If there was a live act that was inside, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
And then on the 2nd, there was some music on the dock, but there was no live act, and everything seemed fine.
Yeah,
In full
'cause
disclosure,
they
I can
had-
tell you, my parents do live up the road. There was one day where there was music. I walked down. The music was actually being played by one of the boats that was parked at the dock. It wasn't coming, and I was kind of like, this is that gray area again that we have to not go through. But people have gone in there, they've asked, they said, why can't there be music outside, what's going on? They have told them that they're waiting for approval. And it's one of the other things that I forgot to address, I just saw in my notes, is that they would have to follow the noise ordinance, which says that those acts would have to make sure that their speakers are facing the building and not being projected out to the lake. So there's obviously, so they can stop any sort of echo that would go across. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to address there was someone at the dock one night, and someone sent me a video of the boat playing the music.
Okay. And that was just one of the patrons there.
There was someone that parked at the dock and came in, and they've been asked numerous times, why is there no music out here? We're just sitting out here, there's nothing. And they said, listen, we're going through a process. And even when I was there on Saturday, there was a couple that came in with their young daughter, and they actually started playing music on their phone, just because they said it was so quiet outside.
Okay. One of the questions that we had, and one of the concerns we had when Rick and I went out there for the meeting, the town meeting with Chad, was the lighting on the outside. One of the concerns of the butters was the traffic that goes back and forth and people walking out. And I want to make sure there was enough light to show drivers going by that patrons were crossing the street.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what kind of lighting there's going to be when that electric company light gets turned on. I'm not sure if it covers right in front of the building so that it's obvious when the patrons are leaving the establishment that they're crossing the street. That was one of my concerns, was that.
So I do know.
Enough light. And Chad mentioned the fact that there was lighting under the awning.
Okay.
I'm just not sure if that's enough to let drivers be aware of patrons coming out.
So I know, obviously, you probably saw it, there's that one big spotlight that National Grid has on the pole to the, if you're looking from the parking lot to the left. I haven't seen that, obviously it's been off. I can't recall the last time it was on. I think it's been off for numerous years at this point. The only thing that was brought to my attention was that when it used to work, the neighbor that is on the hill in the parking lot, it did stop short of creeping onto her property line, but it did illuminate at least that right-hand section of the parking lot. I think once we're able to get this work order and that light gets turned on, we can then address if it does illuminate the road enough. It will at least illuminate the road, directly in front of the light going towards the entrance. So if there's a vehicle coming down Birch Island towards the establishment, that would be lit up and they'd be able to see patrons that way. I can talk to the proprietor about this. There's other mechanisms to put in place that they could maybe put a spotlight on the awning or to the left of it so it does illuminate in front of it.
So I do think.
There's
that-
no other poles there for them to tie onto, but it's 2026. We can go to Home Depot and probably find something to at least make that walkway area illuminated
More
enough
visible,
for it.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. We are, like I said,
I remember that the overhead light being on for quite a while.
I can't remember at
So
all.
I don't remember what that looks like.
But the property owner called me this morning, explained to him what I was going to propose, brought the light up. He emailed me at 5 o'clock so that he spoke to National Grid. He did not have the permit number yet, but was expecting it sometime tomorrow. I do have someone I know at National Grid that maybe at least once that permit is there to see if they can get someone in the local area to go. He told me that his belief is that it just needs to be plugged in. Once it's working, I think we can then make an assessment of what is actually being illuminated and what's not. I think right now we make an assumption. If it's not the area in front of the walkway, I can tell my client that they're, for short money, there's a way of remediating that and at least making the board happy.
Some of the other concerns were the parking, and it's been partially addressed. I know the neighbor on the left-hand side, facing the parking lot on the left-hand side, had said that he would allow them to have their employees park there. And then there was a small parking lot on the right-hand side that was also going to allow the establishment to use that area for parking too. But some of the town employees that were there mentioned the possibility of taking down trees in the back on the right-hand side, and that would open up some of the parking out in that area.
I can talk to so obviously I represent the business owners, so they don't have the ability to go down and cut any trees. I can talk to the property owner. I don't know the area well enough. I've been told over the years that a lot of that back area is swampland, and I don't know if I can't just tell the property owner, hey, I need you to go cut down 3 trees. Because there's a chance if they do that,
Right,
then conservation's calling me and saying, what the heck did you tell that guy to go cut down 3 trees for? We're in violation now.
I'm not saying they should cut the trees down. I don't know who owns that land over there.
Okay.
So I didn't know if it was a property that was owned by the establishment.
I don't know. I can find that out. I don't know what the 2 lots
That was
are.
just a suggestion.
I know the individual who owns, if you are facing the parking lot, the lot to the left on the hill, there's been discussions with that individual about for employee parking, because they can open and close it and just make sure that the employee's the only ones in there. That was his worry. He didn't want patrons in there. He wanted to at least know who was parking there and make sure the cars were out at the end of the night. You brought up a second parking lot. I don't, off the top of my head, I can't envision where that parking lot is. But it's a discussion.
It was right on the right-hand side of the parking lot. It was a small area, but it was to provide, a couple more spaces.
So on the right-hand side, there were 2 large tin bins that were used for storage. Eagle has come and removed one of them. They are in the process of having the individual who's stored in them remove the other part, and the second one's going to be removed. That's going to open up a substantial area for some extra parking. Their hope is to use that for motorcycles, because the motorcycles, from everything that they keep being told, is like, we parked in front of this establishment for decades. And they're not very happy of being told that they can't park right in front of it.
Well,
But
that's probably a good idea because the additional parking, you're probably talking 2 or 3 cars.
100%, but you can put a bunch of bikes there, and they're gonna be isolated, so they don't have to worry about someone opening and closing their door and knocking down one of the bikes. So, I think that was a good idea, at least from my client's perspective. It's a decent amount of area that you can have, instead of having 1 or 2 cars there, you can put numerous bikes there and alleviate the parking lot from being overtaken. So, they have taken steps. I can go and ask for the mortgage inspection plan, see exactly what they've owned, see if there's other ways of extending out that parking lot. Those are discussions between them and the property owner. He is well aware of the items that were brought up by the board in the last 2 meetings, and he wants to work with them because he wants to see them succeed too. I also just have to be mindful of conservation. I don't want to get on their bad side.
Any other questions?
One thing through this, one, I'm happy that you came to make your presentation, but it's not only your butters, but you can see we're on the lake a lot,
Yes.
and we hear from everybody, all our relatives, what's going on. And these licenses are renewed every year, so there's like 6 months, so.
I agree. And I think that was one of the points I pushed them is you have to show that you can follow these rules, because this isn't a license that goes on in perpetuity. You're going to come back before this board, and if you've done things that are not correct, there's no guarantee that a board is going to renew it. And listen, you're talking about people that want to sit outside, they want to do it. That's what's bringing them to the establishment, and that's making the establishment money, and that's how the establishment can keep going. If they violate this and they lose these licenses, the business is in jeopardy. So I think they don't want that. The board doesn't want that. And I mean, I'm on the lake. I remember parking in front of it and listening to the live music, and then parking on the docks and going inside. I told the town administrator, I think there's 3 or 4 landmarks in this town that people outside the town know. Waterfront Mary's, that lot is one of them. It's good to see that there's renewed interest in the property. I think it's going to be something that brings people into the town. And as everyone knows, once they get into town, they're going to stop at other places. There's a gift shop in town that I think is very excited that there might be new people coming to town that might drive up her business, for example. So I think everyone's on the same page, wanting to see it succeed, but they do have to follow the rules. And if they don't, the board obviously has repercussions that they can utilize in the future.
And on a positive note, I did hear that the food was good.
It's good.
I've been there.
Well, it seems like the board seems to be interested. I think everybody has said they've been there how many times in the last
I know.
2 weeks?
And I'm sure they're very thankful that you guys have come out and made your presence known.
So to clarify, their proposal is
12 to 8.
entertainment 7 days a week.
It would be 7 days a week with, I believe their initial ask was 12 to 11 on all 7 days.
Right.
With a reduction of 12 to 5 Monday through Saturday. Monday through Saturday, 12 to 8, Sunday, 12 to 5. And that would be for the exterior music. And that they'd be allowed to utilize the jukebox interior after those hours. The only point of clarification I would ask for is that liquor license previously was seasonal. It is year round now. I would ask that the board adopt these hours for inside music too, so that in the winter months when they cannot have the music in the exterior, they are allowed to bring those musicians inside and allow them to perform for the patrons inside.
Same stipulation as acoustic inside?
Yes.
One question I've got, I know that the plan is to just have acoustic music, but I know some guitars can be really loud.
So I did bring this up. I was told that it would be like an acoustic guitar, or maybe someone that's like 2 guitars with one playing the bass with the acoustic. No drums besides the bongo. No, like an electric. No one out there ultimately playing electric guitar and blasting music over it. It's more slow-paced music, just for people to sit there and enjoy, kind of in the background, rather than overtaking the conversation people would be having while they're sitting on the dock. In the event, they used to have the Wednesday night event there, I believe Rock the Dock. They have been approached by other individuals about trying to do it on like a Thursday night by a different group. I think that would be more of a DJ type of setup. I think that would fall underneath this. Once again, I'd ask for it to fall underneath these hours with the speakers facing the establishment. And once again, that they meet the criteria of the noise ordinance. So the decibel levels, everything along those lines. I don't think I'm not aware that Rock the Dock caused too much havoc down previously, but if it did, I mean, we can address that with the DJs. If the board has any people that have complained about it, if that's an event, we can address that as we go. I think that's the one thing we want to make clear, that if they do have someone there that's a DJ, for example, and that there is a complaint that might have been too loud, that if that gets brought back, we can make sure that the next time that there's an event like that, the music's turned down lower so that there is no abutters that are upset by it. I do know the two individuals that are here behind me are literally direct abutters. Just so they put their vote in, so I know they're right there. So it is good, at least from my perspective, that the people closest to them at least aren't here saying that they don't want to hear the music.
To the chair, just one other question is that, did they plan on keeping the outside music not being inaudible beyond 100 yards as part of the proposal?
I didn't hear that. The outside music to what?
Being inaudible outside of 100 yards was part of the original
So
proposal.
that's underneath the bylaw. The issue, I think that the goal would be to make sure that the volume that it's played at would not go beyond that.
Okay.
The one obviously unique aspect, and I think that there's another establishment obviously on the lake that plays music, that there's one unique aspect of the lake, and that's it echoes. And if the wind's blowing one way, it may take sound a different direction. Like I said, I can control what they allow the musicians to play at from a baseline. I can't control the weather, and I don't know how we can minimize that. But the goal is that someone in North Pond should not be hearing music that's happening in Middle Pond. Someone that's at Goat Island should not be able to hear the music that's being played at Dockside.
I agree, because I hear the same thing.
I mean, there's a cove that I go and put my boat in on Saturday and Sunday, and there's some days I can park in that cove and hear music, and there's some days that if the wind's going in the opposite direction, I can't hear it. But I think if I'm outside that cove, obviously it doesn't go that far. So I think that's the goal here, is we find that baseline to make sure we're in agreement with the bylaw. But I think there's an understanding that there's a unique atmosphere here of the lake.
This board doesn't want to be disagreeable or unreasonable. Part of the specifics of these questions is the fact that what you call the disconnect, from the last meeting to this one, I think. But, nobody's looking to, in fact, this board wants it to be successful. It's a property that had been in decline for a number of years, and to have it back in good stead with good
Exactly.
patrons would be great. So.
And we had that conversation. I think that there was not just the four of you, but my understanding is there was a large group of town employees that went down there to walk the property, see what was going on. And I think that's that's a step that the town took to show the proprietors that the town is vested in trying to work with them and make sure that this business succeeds. So I acknowledge that they're happy that the board wants them to succeed. We want to work with the board. So I think we listen to the abutters, we listen to your concerns. I don't think 12 to 11 with a band on a Tuesday night's the best thing, but maybe 12 to 8 during the summer before the kids go back, and then that music goes inside. It's confined. I remember when they played a DJ upstairs on Friday and Saturday nights, and it was extremely busy there. You didn't hear that music offside the property lines. I mean, once it's inside, it is a well-built building that is holding that music inside. So I do think in the colder months, once it is, the acts are inside, we don't have to worry about that 100 feet off the park. Obviously, the echo off the lake is an issue.
That is an issue. There's not much you can do about that, because it all depends on the
Wind.
weather.
Yeah.
But we do want you to be successful. And I think that was proven by the fact that Rick and I were part of the group that went down there. And the reason we went down there was to try to address, we need to address not only the concerns of the establishment, but also the abutters.
Yes.
And their concerns. And so I think we went down there to determine how best we can address those concerns from both parties.
And that's a balancing act, and they want to make sure that balancing act makes sense. They want to be good. They want to be good neighbors. They understand that their patrons aren't going to be the individuals that live right next to them. They're going to be people coming from out of town, from other parts of town, and it is their obligation to make sure that those patrons are behaving once they're in the establishment and as they leave the establishment, and that there's no sort of instances where an abutter's calling one of you or having to call the police because there's something going on outside the establishment. And they are well aware of that. I mean, that's another instance where their liquor license, that's a renewal issue, that's a state issue. If there are people calling and saying that there's violations of them following how much alcohol is being served, that they're making sure individuals inside are behaving. So they are well aware of that. But yes, there's a balancing act. We want to make sure the abutters who are right there, feel happy that their home's right there. We don't want to do anything that they feel like is decreasing their property value or inhibiting their ability to go outside their house. Especially my parents. I mean, they're older. They don't want loud music when they go outside. They like to just look at the lake and kind of take that in. So one of the things that they asked me was, please make sure that it's not going to be anything that's going to drift over at a high decibel. And I told them that that's one of the reasons I'm here. That'll be a phone call I'll get directly from somebody, so.
Any other questions? Rick,
No.
I don't. I only have one, and I can see years down the road, it'll be called the Webster decision. Is a bongo a drum?
I'm sorry?
Is a bongo a
A
drum?
drum, I don't know.
It's like
But I would ask for a caveat in
That's
the
right.
decision here
That's
to allow
right.
for
This
bongo.
This is a big decision. Is a whale of fish?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
That's a big decision. It's a big decision for the board tonight. But, and I would say too, if there's any, we see it with other establishments, if there's a question, they can ask.
Yes.
For some reason, it seems people are so hesitant to just pick up the phone, ask questions. If we have to talk to, Courtney or Kelly or public safety officials, we can help.
You certainly
We can
can.
help. We don't have to be, pick up the pieces after the fact.
And I know from firsthand that if those questions are asked, the town is very good at getting those answers immediately. From my past, working with clients in the town, if I did have a question, I reached out to town hall. We got those answers immediately, whether it was email or phone. So I did bring, it was one of the things. If there is a question of what is allowed, what's not allowed, let's ask that. I don't want to come for you and beg for forgiveness. I want to say, we had this question, we addressed it, and here's what we did to make sure it fell within the scope of the license.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
For your
Thank
time.
you.
Comments from the board?
Well, like I said, I'm happy that they had Mr. Adamopoulos come. It made it
Same here.
a lot easier to have this discussion and to make a decision. I think that the questions before the board are, I'm comfortable that the group is going to try to adhere by whatever we put front. I mean, I derive comfort from tonight, which I didn't have when we walked through the door. And I think the question for the board is how many nights a week and how late. If it was 11 o'clock, I personally would not be in favor of 6 or 7 nights a week. If you have music that's going to stop at 8 p.m., I feel much more comfortable with allowing it for weekdays. If it's going to start that early. I have one possible additional thought. And I take great comfort is that we can have this discussion again 6 months from now. If in fact things don't go well, either unexpected consequences or something goes wrong.
I think reduced hours makes me feel better also.
Same.
I agree. I'm much more comfortable with the reduced hours, 12 to 8. What about allowing this on Sunday?
Personally, going 12 to 5, I'm comfortable, if you can end at 5. But
Use for outdoor or
Yeah.
indoor.
And then they-
I'm comfortable with it 12 to 8 and 12 to 5. You know, I'm not comfortable on Sundays if they're going to go beyond that. But if the music ends at 5 o'clock, especially if it's just acoustic music with no drums.
Just the bongos.
Except the
Just the
bongos.
Still not-
Definitely want the bongos.
Can we see a bongo? Can we just get it here?
Okay, so,
So this is not a motion, but I would be comfortable making a motion, right? To allow, move to allow the license, Island Road Dockside to have entertainment, including live acoustic music outside on Monday through Thursdays from noon to 8 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays from noon to 9 p.m. and on Sundays from noon
noon
to,
to 8 p.m.
Noon,
what'd I say?
you said 9.
You said 9.
You
On
meant
Fridays
8.
and Saturdays? Oh, I thought that was.
Looking to extend?
No. Oh, yeah, because I had a deal in mind. I was wondering how they would feel about, I'm thinking just a little bit about the fact that there will be outside music once school starts again, because of the weather will allow it. So part of the things I was thinking of is maybe going to 7:30 Monday through Thursday, because that's a school night when school starts, and maybe allowing them to go to 9 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. But I'm not married to that idea. But
Well, if they're willing to go to 8 o'clock and they're happy with that, then.
So I would keep the motion at 8 p.m. then, and then on Sundays from 5 to noon. Acoustic only, no drums except for bongos, which I really think should be in the motion, just so it's there.
I think so too. And in the license.
Okay. Can I have a motion with the bongos included?
And could I just ask, is the parking attendant question going to be part of this
Right.
motion or a separate motion?
Right.
If you even want any requirement for. No, we had discussed at our site visit, potentially
I
having
think we should
parking.
probably have that as part of the overall motion.
And that would be on
No, no.
Fridays and Saturdays, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. And we don't have any stipulations, there was no stipulation that it has to be a paid attendant or anything.
No.
If Chad wants to go out there and do it, which I think he has been, then you can keep it that way, right? Okay.
Slightly off topic, but Chief Sad had mentioned a crowd control course. Is that necessary, or is that just more of a want?
We don't know when
Okay.
the tip serving
Yeah.
is, but I'm not sure about that. That
Yeah.
may be a public safety requirement.
Okay.
I'm not,
I haven't heard of that one
No.
until
Until that.
Chief Sad mentioned
Okay.
it.
yeah.
It was brought up
Yeah.
originally, so I just wanted to make sure.
Well, if it's required, it doesn't have to be part of the motion because it's required.
Correct, yeah. So we'll just look into that. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure how we can limit the, when we say it's acoustic music, how you limit the sound volume, the decibel level of acoustic music, because, you know, I understand that would include electric guitars, which.
I don't think it does it? I think
Is
by
that-
I think by
is that going
definition,
to
acoustic.
include electric guitars?
No, so the request would be for acoustic guitar that would plug into
With
a
amplifier.
speaker, obviously, and maybe like a second bass guitar that's playing with them, but no electric guitars for any exterior music. I think that it would be almost impossible at that point to control.
I don't, that's why I asked.
Right.
I agree, yeah.
And then we do have the 100-yard bylaw in place already, correct?
Yes.
Kelly?
Is that going to include the TJs outside?
Yeah, in my mind it was, I didn't think they had to be stipulated, yeah, okay.
Regarding the crowd control, if that's something, is that something new? We really should take a look at that to see if that's what Chief Sad says is important. We
Right.
might want to consider it in the future for everybody.
Or everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're ready for a motion? I'm ready to read it as a
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Oh, we're ready.
So I move that the board, English would be so helpful. I move that the board votes to license I- um, Island Dockside to have entertainment including live acoustic music, not including drums, but allowing bongos, both inside and outside, on Mondays through Fridays from noon to 8 p.m., on Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays from noon to 8 p.m. Noon, I'm sorry. I said that wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mondays through Friday from noon until, what was the request again? I'm sorry.
Monday
through Saturday.
12 to 8, Sundays 12 to 5.
Thank you.
Right.
On Mondays through Saturdays, 12 to 8 p.m., and Sundays from 12 to 5 p.m. That does include the use of a DJ, and that there would be a parking attendant in place on both, on Friday and Saturday evenings. Did I finally say that right?
Friday and Saturday.
Sounded good to me.
Friday and Saturday, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I apologize for that. Stumbling.
Anything else that needs to be added?
I don't think so.
Nope, hours of operation, parking attendant, acoustic music, I think
The
that's,
only other issue is lighting, and you're not gonna make that part of this.
right,
motion.
right.
So they turn on the other one, see what it does.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. Yeah. Okay,
So do you want a
do
second?
I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, actually, how about a roll call, Kelly?
Selectman Davies?
Yes.
Selectman Deezer?
Yes.
Selectman Rogers?
Yes.
Chairman Claybrook?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Sorry that we're allowed to speak.
It was worth the time to get it right.
Right.
I do too.
Oh, okay. Another dramatic reading.
Yeah. The next item is to vote to authorize the Webster Town Administrator to file on behalf of the town for the water service line inventory update project.
This is a requirement
Right.
of the Water Pollution Abatement Trust Program. This happens every year. I'm not too sure why they require this. I'm not sure why a lot of things are required by Commonwealth, but this is a requirement that a signatory be designated.
And Kelly says I need to read it.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I have to read it.
Elaine has
The
to read
clerk
this too.
has to read it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Authority to file. Whereas Town of Webster, after thorough investigation, has determined that the work activity consisting of water service line inventory updates is both in the public interest and necessary to protect the public health, and that to undertake this activity, it is necessary to apply for assistance. And whereas the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, Mass DEP, and the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust, the Trust of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, pursuant to Chapter 21 and Chapter 29C of the General Laws of the Commonwealth, Chapter 21 and Chapter 29C, are authorized to provide financial assistance to municipalities for the purpose of funding planning and construction activities relative to water pollution abatement projects and drinking water projects. And whereas the applicant has examined the provisions of the Act, Chapter 21 and Chapter 29C, and believes it to be in the public interest to file a loan application, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Selectmen, governing body, as follows, that town administrator is hereby authorized on behalf of the applicant to file applications and execute agreements for grant and/or loan assistance, as well as furnishing such information, data, and documents pertaining to the applicant for a grant and/or loans as may be required, and otherwise to act as the authorized representative of the applicant in connection with this application, that the purpose of said loans, if awarded, shall be to fund planning activities, that if said award is made, the applicant agrees to pay those costs which constitute the required applicant's share of the project cost.
Well done. Thank you very much, Maureen. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I move that we accept the authority to file as read.
Second. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a gentleman here, Mr. Michael Snow, who was consideration for appointment. There's a couple items down. I'm not too sure how the next two items before that are going to take time-wise, so wondering if you might want to move that up.
Okay, do I have a motion to move up the item to appoint Michael Snow up to the current time?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on this item, it's a discussion and possible vote to appoint Michael Snow as an associate member of the planning board for a 3-year term ending on June 30th, 2029. Mr. Snow, would you like to come up and speak to the board?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, it was interesting to sit there. There's things to do. Good evening. Would you like me to sort of?
Just give us some of your background.
Sure,
information
sure.
and why you want to be on that.
Sure, I can do that, sir. My name is Michael Snow. My wife Karen and I moved to town back in 1999. We live over on Point Breeze Road. I have a fair amount of experience, training, certification, et cetera, in land development. I've had kind of a mixed career, but there was a time and place where I did a fair amount of that work for various engineering companies. I got away from it at some point in the past. A couple years ago, we went through the permitting process here in town to build a couple houses on Point Breeze Road. One of them is complete, the other one is in process. In my experience during that period of visiting with boards, getting permits, et cetera, it was pretty apparent to me that the boards struggled to have volunteers. Quotas were a problem at times. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I probably should see if I can free up some time to do that. I retired officially in April of this year from my full-time career. I have some time. I put in an application to sort of see where it goes. It was for the Zoning Board of Appeals. It seemed to me that was the board that at the time was struggling quorum-wise. Where there was Zoning Board of Appeals, Conservation Commission, Planning Board, I feel like I could sit on either of those. I met with Mr. LaFond and then with Jason Piata, I believe that's how you say his name. My discussion with him, he said, well, given your experience and your skills, perhaps you'd best utilize on the planning board. So that's kind of how it shifted from zoning board to planning board, and that's what has brought me to this point before you folks. Glad to answer any questions or provide more specifics if needed.
Very impressive resume.
Well, thank you.
My favorite area, risk management, one of my favorite areas, risk management. I loved it.
Risk management.
Yeah. Thank you for
I'm the
stepping
person
forward.
you don't want to invite to your party, let me tell you. But
And we did get a note from George.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
very positive.
Yep.
Any discussion, any questions?
Now I'm awfully glad you
Appreciate
stepped
it.
forward.
Yes, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you for volunteering. As you
appreciate it.
mentioned, it's important for townspeople to volunteer. So we
Yeah.
appreciate it when somebody comes forward. You have a motion.
I move that we appoint Michael Snow as an associate member of the planning board for a 3-year term ending on June 30th, 2029.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, the next item is to set a date to discuss goals for the Board of Selectmen for the town administrator. I think the goals that were set here were our goals for Rick. But then the question came up, should the board have goals? I don't think the board has ever had goals.
No, I think didn't we have goals?
No.
Well, I think, to clarify that, I think the goals have always been directed towards town administrator goals, even though clearly some of them were really more
Town
goals for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think, not to put words in your mouth, Tom, but I think the goals are kind of a collective goals to a great extent.
Well, I think the goals that we set are the goals for Rick, but we were always supposed to be in support of whatever goals that we asked Rick to attain.
One of our goals should be to set goals for Rick.
Right.
Yes.
That's a good
That's gonna be a
goal.
wise
That's
guy.
a good, that's the first good
It's a
goal.
goal, yeah.
But I know that during the summertime, it's difficult for everybody to get together, so.
Just as an example, I know one of the goals that was set previously for the town administrator had to do with some more community work, like trying to get others involved in local government, some of the multicultural community, and I know there are members of the Board of Selectmen who are undertaking that, and I would suggest that is more of a Board of Selectmen goal than a town administrator goal. So I think some clarity is helpful going forward as to, when you mention Board of Selectmen goals, well, there is a difference between board goals and town administrator goals. So it just,
In addition, I think we have to be careful when we set a goal, that it's an overall goal. I think in the past, when we set our goals, we just had too many that were not goals, but were objectives within a goal.
Right.
And I think we have to keep that in mind this time. And we might want to set an overall goal and also to include some objectives perhaps at a later time within that goal. But we have to be careful that it's an overall goal rather than an action item.
And I think this is a given, maybe not, but I would hope that Rick and whoever he wants from his team is part of that discussion as well.
Yeah, I would assume that that's going to happen.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I'm not in this alone.
So we're just looking for a date at this point?
Well, the last time we talked about that, we were going to try to get this done before the fall. I don't know if that's true or if we're going to have to have our meetings in the fall. But
Well, I think we have to accept the possibility it may take more than one meeting
I
if
think
we
so
take
too.
it serious. I'm not saying it will, but it may.
Well, the other thing taking into consideration is hopefully in February, you'll have a strategic plan. And then you're going to be starting another discussion of what goals are. We want to at least at some point have a sync
Right, I agree.
between
Well, I
the
think
two.
that there will be a sync with the master plan committee.
Yeah.
But ours are going to be specific to Rick Fall.
And none of it's written in stone, correct? I mean,
Right.
so, yeah.
But I think we could crank it out in one session, don't you? We're not talking
Well,
15,000 goals for
Where they
Mr.
go.
LaFawn to do.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why I'd asked everybody to come forward with some goals, so at least we had a starting point.
I restrained myself in my goals.
So do we pick a date now? Do we ask Kelly to send out a note and we all respond?
Kelly, you want to send a note out and we can respond to you? And that way we can pass this off to somebody else.
How did this become Kelly's goal?
Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, vote to appoint a Board of Selectmen representative to the Bartlett High School Building Committee. And the question we have is, should this be a representative from the town body or should a member of the Board of Selectmen be on that committee?
Right, we have confirmed that it doesn't need to be a member of the board itself, but it just a representative of the board over the last several years. It has been a member of the board, a sitting member of the board. I believe first was Lisa Contos, and then Earl.
So
But
did you say?
It doesn't have to
Oh.
be a member of the board.
Does anybody want to be a member of the committee?
I don't think I have any extracurricular assignments at this point, so I'll do it.
Okay.
Don't tell Sherry, okay? I'm sorry?
Make the motion fast, all right?
That's right, exactly.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we appoint Mark Rogers as the Board of Selectmen representative of the Bartlett High School Building Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mark.
Who do I talk to?
I will be informing Lisa Contos
Okay.
tomorrow.
Thanks.
She has been following up a number of times
Okay.
since Mr. Gabor's resignation.
Don't tell me if she's terribly disappointed, okay?
I do have a question.
I wouldn't tell you. I'll actually let her know that she should not suggest that either.
Is the building is coming to an ending fairly soon, right?
Right,
going
it's
to be
basically in its
done.
last third of phase.
So it shouldn't be a long-standing arrangement,
Not at my age.
if
that's
you want to
important.
use that tonight when you go home.
Yeah, the only meeting commitment is once a month. Obviously, there's materials
Yeah.
to review, but the only actual meeting night is, I believe, the second Tuesday of every month.
But they're almost done building.
So they hope.
It's easy to say when you're not on the committee.
I'm just trying to help them.
I appreciate it. Okay.
Okay, the next item is the discussion of liquor license policies.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, I did have some correspondence with town council, the same gentleman that you and I spoke to with regard to that sanction a couple months back. They had put together some draft language to give the board more leeway, more flexibility. It seemed pretty simple, but maybe a little more complex in the context, the legal context. So I have asked for council to give us a few sentences. I had hoped to have those for you tonight, but unfortunately, I don't have anything for you to consider for a vote. So at your next meeting, I will have something to that effect.
All right, let's,
Well, I'm just going to make a comment on it because it seems that it could be pretty easily handled with a sentence that talked about the severity of the incident, whether it caused
Sure.
potential to
But
harm.
what's a severe?
Well, but
So-
leading to the harm of an individual or
Well,
something like that.
you're right on target, though, that.
that's why
but
we're
I-
having an attorney.
I
Yeah.
think, the point is it's, you want to have language that is tight enough.
I agree.
And like I say, I had given it some, after our conversations, it did seem like this would be pretty simple. And we could do something simple. But I don't know if it would actually accomplish the goal. So I think that's,
Well, it needs to be defined.
correct. So, so I'm sorry that I didn't have a proposed language this evening, but at the next board meeting, I will have
Yeah,
specific
I think
language.
I think it's going to be very tight, and that's why I wanted to suggest that.
Sure. Like
Go
I
to
say,
town
as,
attorney and-
well, this is it. As you start drafting something even simple, you start to see the holes that could be developing and the questions that could be asked. And, if you had an attorney sitting in front of you questioning your I guess, questioning not just your motive, but questioning whether or not, the language actually solves the third offense. Should you be discussing each and every, line in here? I don't think it's not going to be that complex. But like I said, when you start to draft something you think is simple, you can put yourself on the other side of the table and start thinking, how effective is this really for the board? So I may be overthinking it, but I'd rather overthink it for another couple of weeks
Yeah,
than have
same.
language that is of little to no value.
Okay.
Fine with, I
Thank
do
you.
have a question, since you sent this in the package. Do we have any BYOB permits?
I don't think we have any permits. We have a policy.
No.
and I-
There was one that applied, but
Yeah.
it closed.
Okay, just curious.
The other thing I noticed when I read it, because I'd never really read it completely, is that for these one-day liquor licenses, we require a 37-day, which is an odd
Yeah.
number to begin with,
Yeah.
but a 37-day, and
I'm
You
not
know.
too sure where that comes from.
no, but
37 days.
I'm just wondering.
What?
I think there's some correct.
Once a month, and then we have to do the packet.
Ah,
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's probably unrealistic, obviously, for some of these. So that might be something to review it in the future. But,
I'm sure you get everything 37 days in advance.
Sure, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there are different types of issues with a policy. One is intent. One is obviously the administrative ease that goes into the thought process. But in terms of the actual intent of the policy, it's to make sure that the information is prepared for the board in a timely manner, whether it's 37 days or
Yeah. just
10
kidding.
days. So,
And the BYOB policy was put into place for establishments that wanted to open and didn't have their liquor license yet. It kind of bridged the gap between where they could open and serve food and then get
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to table the discussion of liquor license policies to
So
our
moved.
next meeting?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So, anyway,
Okay.
update on the strategic master plan.
Okay, the Strategic Master Plan Committee met for the first time on June 24th, so we're off and running. And Chairman Claybart attended. He presented the Board of Selectmen vision and emphasized that the Board of Selectmen wants to use the plan once it's in place. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do some benchmarking with some other towns, and maybe Selectman Rogers can help us with that, with talking with other selectmen. At the meeting, we talked about creating a strategic plan that was broader, but that updated the goals in the master plan. We reviewed the schedule. We looked at all the information and the plans that we've talked about here in the Board of Selectmen meeting. And we looked at our community demographics. And Courtney has created for us a web page on our Town of Webster site. And it's for the Strategic Master Plan Committee. As an icebreaker, we started to look at what we want to see addressed in the plan. And those things we heard include how to better engage the community, how to expand business and do redevelopment, rebranding Webster and marketing us as a healthy place to raise families, addressing technological and especially informational change issues like AI, and ways to attract grants in an era of shrinking resources. Last week, I met with Superintendent of Schools, Mo Pierangeli, and I was absolutely delighted to know that they have a strategic plan for the schools, and it looks like it's going to mesh pretty well with the things we've been talking about. And she also shared some statistics to help us improve our community profile. The next months are critical. We're trying to gather some information. The committee this week is getting back to us on what we want to learn from the community so that we can craft good goals and objectives. And that we're also asking for contact information for people who can be on our focus groups. That's going to take place in the next month and a half. We'll do one for the business community, one for the community in general, and one for our government implementers. And the same question goes to you. If there's something that you want to learn, tell us now. Send a note to Courtney or to me. The next meeting is scheduled for July 30th, and Barbara Levers, who's our contractor, is going to take us through a SOAR exercise, strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And there'll be opportunity to take a look at that information and then add things as needed. And then thinking ahead to when the plan will be published, I've been speaking with the police department about using that wonderful rainbow picture taken by Officer La Rochelle's drone camera. So we can maybe use that as our cover piece.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Thank you. How was the vision? What was the reaction to the
It
vision?
was well received, don't you? Yeah, very well received.
There were no concerns about it.
Yeah.
We had a couple people that agreed with it. So it was well received.
It's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update.
Oh, gee, I don't know. Who's the chair of the committee?
Who is the chair?
Guess who ended up as chair of the committee?
There's a
No
shock.
way.
There's a shocker.
I didn't have that.
That was
I was
like
gonna
when
say,
somebody
somehow
says,
you didn't-
why did you
Yeah,
join the
no.
committee? Because Elaine made me.
Thank you, Elaine. Do we have the town administrator report?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and I'm sorry you didn't get this the end of last week, but we hadn't quite finished our technological transition yet. So I'm going to try to get this quickly, and if I do, both Courtney and Kelly will be quite surprised. But nothing new with Bryan Road, other than the clock continues to tick. As you can see, 45 days from the end of the pre-trial brief that's coming up next week. But to the best of my knowledge, Thompson has not yet filed a reply to the town's pretrial brief. Should that happen, Webster will then have another time period to reply to that and what's called a SIR reply, which is a new word for me. So, so just keeping an eye on that. Right now, it's all procedural. The town offices, as you are well aware, that we have moved. As of last Friday, there's still some records to purge from downstairs, some plants to get, but some looking to try and get a small conference table for some of the space we've reserved in the main office. Keep in mind that the work was done, the painting, the carpeting was all done by our town employees under the supervision of our Rich Schneider, who is our building superintendent, with some help from the Public Works Department. We also got significant surplus furniture from the school department. Obviously, in their building project, they have some furniture that's in a state to be disposed of. So we've done pretty well, pretty cost effectively, got through this so far. The town clerk's office is functioning very nicely downstairs. I've had some good reviews. I think it's a really great use of better use of space in this building. Next week or this week, we have some gentlemen from Mass Corps coming out here, which is Department of Corrections. And as you all know, that they do provide certain services. And one of them is they do construct tables, selectmen's tables. They're that's one of their specialties. They make that clear. To come out and take some measurements and see if we can have a little bit more effective selectmen's office. Selectmen's office table, little meeting table as we just discussed, and a conference table here that's a little more, what I consider a little more practical. I think if there was a fire, Scott would not make it out. The rest of us,
No.
or someone's not.
Someone's
making it
got to
out.
take it
Someone-
for the team.
So clearly, the setup of this room really limits the functionality of it. So if we can get something that's a little more appropriate, provide some mobility, but I think it would be maybe a better use of this room too, as well as the entire office suite here. Town hall, as you can see, we are working hard. Well, not we, but we're on the east side now of the west side of our building. Church Street, you cannot go in there. I think some people are still surprised. They walk up there, they think somehow they're going to get in the building. But my goodness, you have to walk halfway around the building to get in now. So I think for the most part, people are accepting of that. We're looking at approximately another month for this to be completed. We do have a handicap accessibility temporarily on the east side of the building, facing the library. So it's a work in progress, and it's been quite an inconvenience for a lot of people, but we're excited to have that coming to a close soon. Nipmuc Ski Club, I'm meeting with some of the representatives tomorrow afternoon. And one of the concerns that we all have, not just the cease and desist, but they have been operating off Memorial Beach. That hasn't been discussed. It's just been happening. There are certain dates for events off Memorial Beach they have approval for. But in terms of just using the facility itself for the normal ongoing activities, that has not been requested or approved. Part of the problem is that, as we all are well aware from the auditorium project that ultimately never came to fruition, is for private organizations to use public property, the organization is required to put out a request for proposal. People can't just use public facilities without some form of approval. And as you probably recall me beating this to death before, that the purpose of the procurement laws in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are really, to a great extent, anti-corruption laws. They're to prevent favoritism and nepotism. So I don't think people appreciate that it's public property, but you can't do whatever you'd like on public property. It's government property. Similar to conservation land, you can't do certain things in conservation land. It's town-owned land, but just because it's public, you can't do whatever you choose to. There are certain restrictions. So some of this I continue to get blamed for being naive, but I think some of this is good faith, just ignorance. I choosing to still believe that a teeny bit. So hopefully, and I have had a number of emails in the last, I think 10 in the last 2 days, people from the club imploring me to help them finish out the season. The Thompson Road site was even noted in one. It's clear that the club members are not privy to the cease and desist issued by the state, which is extraordinarily clear and descriptive. So once again, that's was served to the board and CC'd to certain public officials. That doesn't mean it's well known that it exists and what it says. So there's a lot to overcome here in terms of communication and rights, government regulations and requirements. And I think it's safe to say that most people aren't aware that we don't make all the rules. We apply the rules. We make sure there's compliance that's in the best interest of the public. We don't have the option to just do whatever we choose to do. So as I said, I'm having a meeting tomorrow afternoon. I hope that there's some sort of headway, because ultimately we all want to make sure that their clientele, primarily children, get served. So there's both the short-term question and then the longer-term question, and I don't know that the longer-term question can be answered tomorrow, but I'm hoping that there'll be a little bit of dialogue ongoing. I guess I was a little concerned that when I found out there was activity going on at Memorial Beach, that someone could have just picked up the phone and said, is this okay? Is this something we need to do? Can you help us? Just the presumption that people can just do whatever they want to do is something that to this extent, I haven't seen in, decades. So I don't want to beat this up too much any more than I already have. But I know that members of the board have received comments, questions, and because it's broader than just my office, I think it's worthwhile bringing this to the board's attention. So,
Great.
Just,
I think you're right.
there are all sorts of things still left on the land that eventually have to be discussed. And the ski ramp is still there. And
Yes.
it's sort of rolling in the wind.
yes, yeah. things to be discussed, yes.
Right.
Okay, fireworks, we were all there or watched. Once again, nothing here new, other than I really have to thank Mr. John Tomasian, the CEO of Webster First Federal Credit Union. I think we're all kind of really taken by the generosity of the credit union and being top of the list for Mr. Tomasian. We did give him the motorcycle and police and fire cruiser escort to the chosen parking space. He and his wife were able to go down, and I think the fire chief more or less forced them to start the firework display. So I think it was a good time was had by all. Hopefully they'll keep us in mind in the future. We did our best to make sure that it's a possibility. So, but that was real. I think a really nice of the credit union, and it really goes to show how when you have an organization that's really dedicated to the community. And I've previously given updates on the Mass Trail grant, and everybody's already aware of the beach closure and opening. These were things, as you can see, I intended to update that I don't need to. And one last thing, just for Massachusetts Environmental Health Association has elected our health director, Camille Griffin, as incoming vice president. 2-year term, and she is in line to be president in 2 years. And again, it's just another nice salute to some of our fine department heads. These are coming up often. So it really is. It's nice we really got a really great bunch of department heads. They're all very well respected within their professions, well beyond the borders of Webster. So,
Great.
So she may not feel congratulations at some point, but as of right now, congratulations. So, and that is it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rick. You have a motion to accept
So
the
moved,
report?
Second.
with gratitude for its brevity.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I just want to go over the board and committee vacancies. Finance Committee has a full member vacancy. Historical Commission, full member. Zoning Board of Appeals, alternate member. Planning Board, associate member, 2 members. Conservation Commission, a full member and 2 alternate members. Water Sewer Commission, a full member. For future events, the Summer Concert Series continues Wednesdays through August 5th between the Town Hall and the library at 6 p.m. August 5th, the show begins at 6:30 p.m. And our proposed future meeting date is Monday, August 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in Selectmen's Meeting Room, Town Hall, 350 Main Street, Webster, Mass. 01570. And I will be unable to participate in that meeting, so Mark has generously offered to cover for me.
I don't know if I can, now that I'm on the building committee. I don't know if I have time. A quick question, Mr. Chair, is the associate membership now down to 1 vacancy with tonight's appointment? It is. Okay. It will be down to 1?
Great, we down to 1 now?
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Chair.
Second thing.